বহু পুণ্য ফলে সুতহ মিলালো প্রেম পরশ মনি। বহু পুণ্য ফলে সুতহ মিলালো প্রেম পরশ মনি। গোরা গুণ গায় শুনি, অখিল জীব এসুক সাগর নয়ন শোষে। অখিল জীব এসুক সাগর নয়ন শোষে। পরশ না পাইল পরাণ জোড়াবে কিসে। পরশ না পাইল পরাণ জোড়াবে কিসে। গোরা গুণ গায় শুনি, করুণ নয়ন বরুণ অলয় করুণায় নিরূপণে। করুণ নয়ন বরুণ অলয় করুণায় নিরূপণে। মধুর আলাপে আখারে আখারে সুধা ধারা বলে শুনে। মধুর আলাপে আখারে আখারে সুধা ধারা বলে শুনে। গোরা গুণ গায় শুনি, প্রেমে ভালো ভালো পুলকি পুরালো আপদ মস্তক তুলো। প্রেমে শতধারা বহে সুমেরু সিঞ্চিত জন। বাসুদেব কহে শতধারা বহে সুমেরু সিঞ্চিত জন। গোরা গুণ গায় শুনি বহু পুণ্য ফলে সতহ মিলায় প্রেম পরশ মনি। বহু পুণ্য ফলে সতহ মিলায় প্রেম পরশ মনি।
Second, second. Okay, Om Jnana-timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripasindubhyeva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Yudvaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukham karoti vachalam pangum landhayate girim Yatkripatamaham vande Shri Gurum Dinataranam. So I just want to slightly make a detour today. Can you all see the screen? Yeah.
Yes, Prabhu, we can see.
Yes.
Okay, the screen and I guess my video also. Yeah.
Yes, Prabhuji.
All right. So continuing to read about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Sanyas. So we are reading today from Chaitanya Bhagavat Vrindavan Das Thakur. We'll go back to Chaitanya Mangala. Today reading from Chaitanya Bhagavat. One day, the Supreme Lord Chaitanya was immersed in the pastimes of the gopis of Vrindavan. He was incessantly chanting, Gopi, Gopi. Along came a sudden student scholar from somewhere, and without understanding his mood, said to him, "Oh, Nimai Pandit, why are you chanting Gopi, Gopi? You should better chant Krishna's name. What pious gain is there in chanting Gopi, Gopi?" But according to the Vedas, one's piety increases manifold by chanting Krishna's name. An ignorant man can never comprehend the Lord's spiritual state. The Lord said, Krishna is a plunderer. Who worships him? That ungrateful Krishna killed the innocent Bali and thought his winsome looks and strength has won many women. He deliberately cuts off a woman's nose. He's talking about Surpanakha and Bali. Yeah. The ungrateful Krishna killed the innocent Bali, and although his winsome looks and strength has won many women, he deliberately cuts off a woman's nose. Again, he begs everything from Bali Maharaj, leaving him with nothing, and then sends him down to hell. What will I gain chanting his name? Saying this, Lord Chaitanya picked up a stick and, still immersed in Prema Bhava, he rushed towards the inner student menacingly. The student jumped up and ran out with the Lord, close behind in hot pursuit, raving and ranting. The student ran in fear of his life, not understanding the Lord's real mood. The devotees ran after their Lord and, catching up with him, brought him back and pacified him. The student, in the meanwhile, made good his escape. Panting heavily and drenched with perspiration, he came to his friends. They were all curious to see his plight and inquired the reason for his fright. He replied, do not inquire further. I'm lucky to be here alive and breathing. Everyone says Nimai Pandit is very saintly. But today when I visited him, I found him chanting Gopi Gopi. He is only chanting these names day and night. So I told him, what are you doing, O learned man? You should chant Krishna, Krishna as is recommended in the scriptures. These words enraged him to such an extent that he came charging at me with a stick. Not only that, he was even cursing and abusing Krishna, which I'm afraid to repeat. Only destiny could have intervened to save my life today. The students began to laugh foolishly and air their various views. One said, people say he is a good Vaishnava, then why does he come chasing a Brahmana with violent intentions? Another offered, how can he call him a Vaishnava if he refuses to utter Krishna's name? Yet another remarked, it sounds very strange that a Vaishnava is chanting only Gopi Gopi. Another said forcefully, why should we feel coward and shrivel in his hovel? Don't we also possess the power so characteristic of Brahmanas? He may be a Brahmana. So are we learned in the scriptures. Why should we tolerate his threatenings? He is not a king or officer. He can punish us. Let us group together, and next time he tries to intimidate us, we will thwart him. He may be the son of the learned Jagannath Mishra, but our parents are no less worthy. Just see, yesterday we were studying together as mates, and today, how does he become suddenly the big master? The offenders and atheists spoke so caustically against him, but Lord Chaitanya, the super soul, residing in everyone's heart, knew everything. One day he was sitting with all his devotees when suddenly he made a mysterious remark whose meaning was too shrouded for anyone to understand. He said, the medicine Pipali Khanda was prepared to cure the excess phlegm, but instead it increased the phlegm in the body. You follow? So, yeah, so this medicine is supposed to reduce the phlegm, but it's increasing. So Mahaprabhu is saying, I have admitted for delivering people, but it seems people are getting more implicated by offending me. So he spoke this in a riddle. Saying this, the Lord began laughing loudly, musing over something incomprehensible to all the devotees, to all. The devotees became very concerned. Lord Nityananda knew the inner meaning of the Lord's statement in the Lord's confidential mood. He thought, soon the Lord will leave home and take sannyas. Lord Nityananda fell into deep despair. The life air seemed to leave his body. The thought of seeing his beloved Lord Caitanya, beautiful as he is, to be shorn of those lovely locks of hair. Lord Chaitanya suddenly clasped Lord Nityananda's hand, taking away to a quiet and lonely spot. Lord Chaitanya said, Listen, dear Nityananda, I'm revealing my heart to you. Purpose of my advent was to deliver the entire world. But instead of delivering the living entities, it seems I have to ultimately destroy them. People are supposed to attain salvation just by seeing me, but it's now their material bonds become stronger. As soon as they contemplated on beating me, they became tightly chained to eternal bondage. I incarnated with the with the intention of liberating the good and innocent mass, but now I have spoiled everything and I'm leading the people to their doom. Therefore, I have decided to shave off my head and take to the renounced order of a sannyasi and go begging door to door. I will stand at the doors of those who wanted to attack me with a begging bowl. Then these same aggressors will fall at my feet, and in this way I will deliver the whole universe. Everyone respects a sannyasi. No one will ever think of harming a sannyasi. Tomorrow, when I take up begging as a sannyasi, I can go safe anywhere. I fully decided to take up the sannyas order and leave my home and family. Please do not feel sad due to this. Rather, please give me permission to take up the renounced life. Whatever is your desire, I will certainly act in accordance. But you should consider that renounced life. Oh, sorry, but you should consider that I have taken this incarnation for a specific reason and so require your permission in this matter. If you really want to see that everyone in the world becomes liberated, then you must not stop me from my decision. And you're the last person to lament over this because you know the confidential reasons for my advent. When Nityananda heard from his dear Lord that he was shaving his beautiful locks and entering the renounced order, Nityananda's heart shattered to pieces in grief. He did not know what to say to Lord Chaitanya, but he was sure that the Lord will go ahead with his decision. Lord Nityananda replied, "My dear Lord, you're absolutely independent." So in Chaitanya Mangala, we were hearing from Murari Gupta, Mukunda Datta, we're trying to pacify the Lord. Vrindavan Das Thakur is describing about Lord Nityananda here. Lord Nityananda replied, "My dear Lord, you are absolutely independent. Whatever you wish must be executed. Who can resist you or go against your wishes? Whatever you have decided is surely to happen. You are the maintainer and protector of this cosmic manifestation. Your wishes are always for the good of the people. Who but you can conceive the best method for liberating the conditioned souls? You are perfectly free to act in any way you think best. And yet I think you may present these facts to all the Vaishnavas and ask their opinion. After hearing them, you may do whatever you think is necessary." So first he broke the news to Lord Nityananda. Lord Nityananda's words satisfied Lord Chaitanya and he embraced Nityananda again and again. Thus advised, Lord Chaitanya went to meet the assembly of Vaishnavas. Paralyzing thought that Lord Chaitanya will take sannyas echoed in grey emptiness in Lord Nityananda's mind. He walked about normally, but within him raged fitful storm. How will Sachi Mata contain her grief-stricken life once her Nimai abandons home, he thought. How will she live through the long, lonely days and nights without him? Each time these thoughts passed through his mind, he felt devastated with despair and finding a secluded corner wept bitterly because he could not bear to think what will happen to Sachimata. Lord Chaitanya came to Mukunda's home. Mukunda was overjoyed to see his beloved Lord coming personally to his house. The Lord said, "Sing something about Krishna." Mukunda began to sing, and the Lord listened to the transcendental sweetness of Mukunda's singing. Withdrawing the ecstasy within himself, the Lord calmed himself and spoke to Mukunda. The Lord said, "Mukunda, please listen to me. I've decided to leave my family and home to join the sannyas order. Shaving my hair, I shall travel all over." The Lord's word crushed Mukunda's joy he had felt earlier from seeing the Lord. Piteously he begged the Lord, "My Lord, Since you're firm in your resolve to become a mendicant, it must happen. But wait a little longer and stay with us in pastime in Krishna Kirtan. Then do what you have to. So, even there in Chaitanya Mangala, we read something like this. So, Nityananda, Mukunda, and then he broke the news to Gadadhar Pandit. Lord Chaitanya left Mukunda's home and went to see Gadadhar Pandit. Gadadhar offered obeisances to his Lord, praying at his lotus feet. The Lord addressed Gadadhar. I want you to hear me carefully, please, Gadadhar. So anyway, Gadadhar, Mukunda, they were both were Mahaprabhu's Nimai's childhood friends. They used to go to school together, associated together. I have to leave my family and home for the sake of my Lord, for my Lord Krishna. I will shave my head and as a mendicant go wherever the road leads. Gadadhar remained motionless, thunderstruck. Feeling a burning grief swallowing him within, he replied, Your words are very strange, my lord. You mean to say that one can attain Krishna simply by shaving his head and leaving home and not by staying in the household alive? Spiritual gain is there in shaving one's head. All this may be your opinion, but certainly not found anywhere in the Vedic scriptures. How do you propose to have a widowed mother all alone at the very outset? At the very outset, you will be burdened with the sin of bringing about your mother's death. You are her life's dream. If you are gone, what reason will she have to remain alive? Is one not dear to the Supreme Lord if one remains in the house? In fact, a householder is liked by everyone. And if in spite of everything I told you, you still want to cling on to your decision, then what? Then do what you like. This is Gadadhar, Radharani speaking. And in spite of everything I told you, you still want to cling on to your decision, then do what you like. Like this, the Lord visited all his dear and near ones and told everyone of his plan to take sannyas. Whoever heard this was shocked with grief. They wept bitterly at the thought of seeing their beloved Lord, beautiful as a springtime full moon, shorn of all his black cascading curls. They lamented, What will be the use then to string a garland for his curly locks? Yet another said, How will I live without seeing his delightful locks? Yet another said, beating his head, I will never be able to smell the transcendental aroma from his hair anymore. The devotees were wailing in grief, tossed about in an ocean of despair. Loudly they wailed, for they were going to lose their beloved Lord. Lord Sri Krishna Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda are my life and soul. I, Vrindavan Das, offer this song at their lotus feet. Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat Madhya Leela, chapter 17. All glories to Lord Vishvambhara, the son of Mother Sachi, bold as a lion. Our Lord is the deliverer of the fallen souls. All the devotees were very much perturbed and grief-stricken. They were already feeling the pangs of separation from their Lord Chaitanya. They cried piteously. They said amongst themselves, Where will he go after taking sannyas? Where will we see him again? Surely he is not going to return to this village after accepting a mendicant's robe. There is no way of finding out where he will be, in which direction he will travel in. The devotees were continuously worrying in this manner. Their hearts filled with consternation that they may never see their most precious Lord again. No one took interest in food and sleep any longer. The Lord could not bear the pain his devotees were suffering. Smiling pleasantly to alleviate their distress, the Lord assured them, Why do you unnecessarily vex yourself? I am always present with you. It is wrong of you to think that once I have taken sannyas, I will leave all of you and go far away. Not for a moment can I leave you. All of you are my eternal associates, not just for this birth, but birth after birth. Those of you who are associated with me in this incarnation will eternally remain with me. The mellow of congregational chanting of the holy name. In every millennium, I advent and in every one of my innumerable incarnations, you have participated in my pastimes. With this Advent, I have come with two incarnations. One is the congregational chanting, and the other is my transcendental deity form, full of bliss. In both these incarnations, you must participate in my pastimes with full vigor and joy, chanting with me in ecstasy. I am taking sannyas only to educate humanity. Therefore, please allay your fears and worries. Placating the distressed devotees with the sweet words, he embraced each one of them again and again. Lord's words had a pacifying effect on the devotees, and feeling more assured, they allowed their beloved master to leave. Word spread swiftly everywhere that Nimai was going to embrace the mendicant's life. When Sachi Devi heard this news, her heart almost stopped. Grief was so intense that the pain of the entire universe seemed like nothing. She fell to the ground unconscious, tears flowing in torrents, and remained lying on the floor. A heartrending sight, the lotus-eyed Lord saw all this sitting very still and grave. Sachi Mata cried out to Nimai, saying, "My darling son, please do not leave your mother and go. All of us are simply depending on seeing your divine lotus face. Your lotus eyes and moonlight glowing face, ruby lips and pearly jasmine white teeth, words like showers of ambrosia, graceful gentle elephant's gait are impossible to live without. Your constant followers Advaita and Srivas and your bosom friend Nityananda and Gadadhar are always there. Just stay home and perform your congregational chanting. You have incarnated to teach everyone the religious principles. Then what religion teaches one to leave one's mother? You embody the religious principles, and if you forsake your mother, then how will you teach the world about religion? Laden with immense love for her son, Sachi Devi waited out these words. And the Lord heard all this quietly, unable to speak. His voice choked with intense love for his mother. She continued, "Your elder brother left some time ago, and then your father left for the Lord's eternal abode. Only you remained. And looking at you, I could forget my pains of separation. Now, if you leave, I will certainly give up my life. My dearest son, just see the pitiful sight of your lonely, widowed mother. How can you leave me? Stay home. Nityananda is always there. You can perform kirtana in your own house with all the devotees. You are everything to me. Your eyes are full of love and compassion, and your long hands are exquisite. Your words are cascades of nectar. My darkened house without a lamp is illumined by your presence, and your lotus feet is a source of life-giving elixir. Silently, Vishwambar sat and listened, fearing the deep pain within as his mother, out of intense love, spoke painful words of separation like Kaushalya, trying to reason with Lord Ramachandra. Sachi Devi spoke on, unable to calm herself. The Lord still remained silently listening. She felt drained out, rampaged with a storm of grief. Food and sleep were to her now a curse. The Lord, seeing his mother's condition, revealed to her some secrets that might pacify her. He said, "Mother, please calm yourself and listen. I have been your son since many births. You were once Prishni, and I was your son. Again, you became Aditi in another life, and you were residing then in the heavenly planets. Then I became your son Vamana. Then once again, I became your son Kapila when you were Devahuti. When you were Kaushalya, I was your son Rama. Another time, you were Devaki in Mathura, imprisoned in the dungeons of the cruel king Kamsa, and I became your son Krishna. In this present incarnation, I will be your son twice. You will be the mother of my incarnation as the deity form, and also the mother of my incarnation as the holy name. Mother, like this, you have had me as your son eternally." So 3 times he's saying, as Nishvambhara, as the deity form, and as the holy name. Mother, like this, you've had me as your son eternally. I can never leave you, Mother. I reveal this to you very confidentially. Now, Mother, please allay your fears and grief. Sachi Devi, on hearing this esoteric narration, was somewhat calmed. Sri Krishna Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda are my life and soul. By Vrindavan Das humbly offer this song at their lotus feet. Okay, so here's Anchalila chapter 1. So we will go back to Chaitanya Mangala. So it directly skips to sannyas initiation, the night of his sannyas initiation. Lord Chaitanya remained in Katwa. So we will pick it up in Chaitanya Mangala again tomorrow. Yeah, it's quite interesting. Hare Krishna. We could read some more from Chaitanya Mangala, but maybe we can pause for today. So this is Vrindavan Das Thakur. Or should be from Chaitanya Mangala. Anyway, we can pause. 7:35 today. So pause. So we read from Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat, Vrindavan Das Thakur, leading up to sannyas. So we're learning some etiquette points also. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami also, he mentions. So apparently Chaitanya Charitamrita was one of the last biographies of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, more comprehensive. Chaitanya Mangala and Chaitanya Bhagavat were written earlier. And many times Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, out of humility, he refers and he defers to Lochana Das Thakur and Vrindavan Das Thakur, that these lords, they have already written about these pastimes. So I will not repeat them. There is no need to repeat them. It will be a breach of etiquette, and also the scripture will become too voluminous. The lords have already written perfectly. So what need is there to further again elaborate? So Vrindavan Das Thakur doesn't mention so much. I'm sorry, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. Yeah. So childhood pastimes in Chaitanya Mangala and Chaitanya Bhagavat, the first 24 years are more detailed actually. Like in Chaitanya Bhagavat, if you see here, the Anchalila, Antya Khanda begins with sannyas. So the Adi Khanda and the Madhya Khanda, they're all Mahaprabhu's pastimes in Navadvip. So more details are there. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, the Adi Leela, it ends, Adi Leela, the last chapter ends with Mahaprabhu taking sannyas. So Madhya Khanda and Antya Leela and Madhya Leela in Chaitanya Charitamrita is describing the pastimes of Mahaprabhu after sannyas, the later 24 years. So Chaitanya Charitamrita has more details of the Jagannath Puri pastimes. Makes sense. Raghunath Das Goswami stayed in Jagannath Puri. Raghunath Das Goswami heard from Swarup Damodar and others. And after Mahaprabhu, he went away, he wandered up his pastimes. Raghunath Das Goswami, he went to Vrindavan. He was requested by the Goswamis of Vrindavan to come he was thinking of giving up his life. He said, what's the point of living? Mahaprabhu is left. So what's the point of living? But then Rupa Sanatana Goswami said, hey, you're not dying. No. You have been with Mahaprabhu in Jagannath Puri. We have been serving him in separation here. So you know all the pastimes. Please come here and narrate Gauralila. So Raghunath Das Goswami every day in Vrindavan, he would speak Gauralila for hours and hours. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami also was one of the listeners. And then at the fag end of his life, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami was asked to compile Chaitanya Charitamrita by the sadhus. Anyway, so this is quite interesting, very, very amazing, because Vrindavan Das Thakur, he's much younger actually. Vrindavan Das Thakur was just a young boy when Mahaprabhu passed away. So he could not even have much association. Lord Nityananda pacified him. Vrindavan Das Thakur cried like a baby when Mahaprabhu left. And Lord Nityananda, he pacified him like a father. So Vrindavan Das Thakur, Lochan Das Thakur, they are disciples of Lord Nityananda. Sorry, not Lochan Das Thakur, even Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami. Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami and Vrindavan Das Thakur. Lochan Das was a disciple of Narahari Sarkar. So anyway, so he was the next generation. Vrindavan Das Thakur was much younger and chronologically. And Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, of course, he was much, much elder when he wrote Chaitanya Charitamrita. So it all adds up. It makes sense. So the biographies were compiled. Vrindavan Das Thakur had compiled it prior to Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. Anyway, amazing. And the earlier pastimes, as we see here, Murari Gupta, he maintained actually diaries called Kadachas, but actually he wrote an amazing book called Sri Krishna Caitanya Charita Mahakavya. It's all in Sanskrit. Usually Murari Gupta, he doesn't get credit, but his Kadachas, his diaries became the basis of actually all three books. The Adilila pastimes were actually compiled, were noted by Murari Gupta in Navadvip. And those Kadachas, they became the basis of, Vrindavan Das Thakur's Chaitanya Bhagavat, Chaitanya Mangala. We are already listening our Chaitanya Mangala. Apparently, Murari Gupta is speaking to Damodar Pandit, which Lochan Das Thakur is compiling. Anyway, so Murari Gupta is the unsung hero, I guess. He's one of the basis of all these scriptures. And who is Murari Gupta? He's Hanuman, who Lord Ramachandra asked him to stay back to chant his glories all the time. So he compiled this Chaitanya Mahakavya, Charita Mahakavya, which became the basis for, especially the childhood pastimes. All these three scriptures, the childhood pastimes, are basis where Murari Gupta's diary, Kadacha. So anyway, so we'll pause there and see if there's any discussion, any sharing. Hare Krishna. I hope it's not too much and too rapid, the reading. Yeah, but that's why I'm displaying it. And you can read it along or just hear it.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah, very well.
Vrindavan Das Thakur, he was the son of Narayani.
Narayani, yeah.
Correct. Okay, Prabhuji. Just wanted to make sure.
Yeah. Narayani. Anything else?
And Prabhu, Narayani Mataji, she stayed with Vasudeva Datta, I think, isn't it? Under his care.
Vasudev Datta Shivananda Sen. Yeah, Narayani's husband somehow passed away young. And she was under the care of Vasudev Datta. There is also some connection between Narayani and maybe Srivas Thakur. I think I don't remember now. Yeah.
I think Srivas Thakur's niece.
Correct. Yeah. So one of his brother's daughter, I think. Yeah. All these associates, he's just taking their name and remembering them. Yeah. Like Srimad Bhagavatam, we were hearing, right? The first katha in Srimad Bhagavatam is about the Pandavas. So the sages are asking, hey, tell us Krishna Katha. Krishna Katha begins with Ashwatthama and Pandavas. So Vaishnava Katha is Krishna Katha. Similarly, yeah, the Katha of the associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Gaura Katha also. Okay. Thank you. Hare Krishna. So we'll end today. Pratibha Mataji, if you want to call me now, you can call me now. Hare Krishna.